Good morning, all. It is Tuesday, the 12th of October, 2021. I'm heading out of town again. So I'm going to be taking off for 3 days. Got to go meet with members of my team in Northern California. Trying to try and meet with every single member of my team individually, face to face, talk about where they're heading with things, ways for us as an organization from different perspectives to continue to improve. Because the whole thing that I have seen, people in business tend to want to get bigger, right? They always want to try and get bigger. But what I found is bigger rarely equals better. And I heard somebody describe this in a meeting one time. A friend of mine, Josh Culler, had talked about this, and he had probably heard it somewhere else. But ultimately, that's the individual who gave the information to me. And it rings very true. You know, bigger sometimes makes you worse, but better can usually become bigger, right? So I'm not so concerned about our size. Right now, we're about 31 team members other than myself, or a total of 32. And our goal is to be better at what we do. Eventually, we'll grow. My ultimate goal is to be good enough to have, or improved enough to be able to warrant having 104 on my team for a total closing about 5,000 transactions a year. That means we have become that good at what we do. We are far from that good right now. So we're working on that. So looking at the markets right now, of course, there's a lot of people freaking out a little bit, especially with what's happening with the supply chain thing. That is still such a big mess. You know, what we have with all the, with fewer workers, jobs, there are tons of jobs open and nobody working. I'm going to say nobody, but fewer people working to what's necessary to move the economy. I don't have to even talk about the ports. I don't have to talk about the shipping issues and all that. I mean, people should be very aware of what's going on there. So where that's going to take us, it's hard to say. Very, very hard to say where it's going to go. But what we are seeing some negative aspect with respect to how it's affecting mortgage-backed securities, especially in your lower coupons. So what I'll show here is the 2%. And look at this. We're getting down there to the bottom line support we can get to. We bounced off of it, gotten a little bit of gain. We didn't have any trading yesterday or over the weekend. So that's where we have this gap. So hopefully that support's going to hold, and we'll work our way back up into this higher channel. You know, that's for those that are financing homes. I'm looking to do a cash out refi on my primary right now. I'm just finishing up with the rehab. So, I'll be subject to that, right? It's going to be a higher rate than what I have now, more than likely. So going into the 3.5, which is where you investors are going to be focusing on, where we would get the money for you. Look, it's staying fairly flat. So when somebody's putting their money into the mortgage-backed securities, and albeit lots of it coming from the U.S. Treasury, it seems like going into a little bit higher coupons seems to be a little more attractive to those who are putting their money in there. So for right now, I'm not seeing anything that's going to scare me about where the interest rates are going to go for investors. But just know it is also right now trading at the very bottom end of that channel. Came off of that bottom, and it's bounced up. Hopefully it maintains that particular situation. But all the news that we've been getting, especially the negative economic news, does help bonds. Because it's supposed to quell, you would think negative economics would quell inflation. Inflation is going through the roof, especially about tax stuff that's being talked about, and small businesses at heavy risk, with the big, behemoths of the Amazons of the world and the Apples and the Googles and the Facebooks of the world that are, monopolizing on the small guy. So when you think about all that's going on there, there's a lot of worry through the economy. But for right now, for real estate investors, I encourage you to keep going. Keep finding those deals. There is no cheaper money. I haven't seen it in my career. So appreciate you guys. If you have questions, put it out here. Reach out to me directly. Shoot me an email, and we'll see if we can get more information for you. Thank you always for watching, and I'll talk to you on Friday.